Hi Conrad, I'm going to make 3 short films charting my journey with back pain. In the first film I'm going to explain the symptoms and explain, hopefully in simple speak, what causes those symptoms, and in the second 2 films I'm going to explain how you remedy the problem. The information I'm giving you is applicable to just about any athlete over the age of 40. My first symptoms started to occur on long bike rides, where towards the end of the bike ride I would get lower back pain. As a typical bloke, I ignored the symptoms and the back pain started to appear earlier on in the ride. The next stage of the symptoms was that when I wanted to get off my bike and run, the back pain lasted well into the run. Check my notes. As ever, I ignored these symptoms, which is actually my back telling me to reapproach my training because it's not happy. The back pain symptoms continued. I noticed that I was getting tight hamstrings and tight IT bands, and I put this down to my running, where it was nothing to do with my running. Your hamstrings and your big muscles are stabilising muscles, trying to stabilise your body because your back's not in alignment. I could no longer get out of the car and stand up straight. I was experiencing sharp pains down one leg because a disc was pressing on my sciatic nerve, and it also interferes with your balance. So stupidly I tried to go for a run and nearly fell over several times. As ever, as a typical bloke, I still ignored the symptoms. Final stage for all of these symptoms is that I could no longer sleep for more than 2 hours at a time. I would wake up in pain, my back would be locked, I'd have to get up, go and walk around. The lack of sleep meant that not only was I starting to lose the will to live, but I actually started to confront the real issue that I was faced with. I'm going to try to explain in simple layman speak, physiologically, what is changing and what is going on in your back which is causing these problems. I'm going to try to give you a simple example of how a young person's back works. So we can pretend here's the legs, here's your back side, here is a hard vertebrae, in between here is a soft disc, a hard vertebrae, and your whole spinal column has vertebrae, soft disc, running all the way up. The discs are firm enough to hold the space, yet if you bend to one side, as your vertebrae bend, the soft disc compresses, and then when you stand up straight, the soft disc pops back to its normal position. This is exactly what's happening when you're leaning forward, riding your bike. As you lean forward, the vertebrae compress the disc, and then when you get off your bike, stand up straight, everything pops into line, everything has nice alignment. As you get older, particularly when you pass the age of 40, what happens is that the discs in your back become tougher, less malleable and less supple. So I'm going to show you with my simple analogy with 3 water bottles what happens. Here now is still your backside. Here's your first hard vertebrae. The green bottle, if you assume, is your disc. The yellow bottle, another hard vertebrae. Now when you lean forward to ride your bike, as the disc doesn't like to compress, it ends up pushing out. When you stand up, having ridden your bike, you stand back up and your back is no longer in alignment. One of the discs is either pushing out, slipped, bulging, doesn't really matter what you call it, but this is what's going on inside your back. The bulging disc will press on nerves, which will give you pain. It could give you displaced pain. For me, it was sciatic pain down one leg. Because your back is not in alignment, you've probably got tight hamstrings, tight glutes, sore backside. And this is because the muscles around your back and then around your larger body area, having to work overtime to hold you into position. So hopefully, Conrad, I've explained to you the cause of what's probably going on inside your back and giving you your back pain. Now, I know from my own personal experience, I saw several specialists, I saw physiotherapists, I saw back specialists. I was told I would never be competitive again. All of this started when I was 44. I went through a year's rehab and then a year's training to counter the time lost from a year's rehab. It's pretty much taken me 4 years to understand what the problem was inside my back and how to deal with it. I am now pain free. I have no back pain, and you could be exactly the same. Now, the next 2 films that I'm going to make, I'm going to explain hopefully quite clearly what you need to do so that you can clear yourself of back pain. It's up to you whether you want to take the advice, but if you do nothing, your back will probably just bring you down anyway.